to the second deuce in this opening game.
You can see both players a little tentative and tight. It's early. It's late. Two relatively easy wins. Akasuso challenged him the first couple sets. When I see Hewitt use that two-fisted backhand up the line, because when I watch him play, it seems about it's 95% of the time he pulls it cross court, but he's got a great two-hander up the line, and he could really hurt his opponent, keep him off balance. If he mixes this up just enough, that's going to make life more difficult. Dent's not known for his speed around the court.
Struggle, but Hewitt has held open the match. Busy Sunday of great tennis on tab for you fans. 7 hours of coverage, and next up will be Maria Sharapova and Sonia Mirza, the 18-year-old from India, who is as big a star in her country as Sharapova is in this one.
1 billion people can't be wrong.
And many millions of those will be watching on television. She just wins a match and they set off fireworks in her country. Sharapova, #1 player in the world for a week, and is seated #1. Lindsay Davenport reclaimed the #1 title just prior to this championship.
Thought Hewitt was going to try a little Fabrice Santoro there, go between the legs. He doesn't have as much practice as the Frenchman does. He played a great match against Federer the other night.
Oh, that was delicious. See if Dent will attack behind his second serve. Just occasionally so far in the tournament. Here he comes. And there's the pass.
As I said a couple minutes ago, Hewitt likes the target, and he's an excellent returner. And you need to be on top of your game. Needless to say, Dent's going to have to play the match of his life. But he's got that huge serve.
137 miles an hour. Here's his trip to the third round.
He's got to work harder than Hewitt.
Young Spaniard is a good player, isn't he? Oh,
that's bad luck.
How unlucky.
Yeah, it was going out, the passing shot. Hit the net post, I believe, and went in.
This was going to be way out. Caroms off the net post for a lucky winner. That short backswing, John.
Exactly, and then he's able to time it so well. I mean, see, he gets the ball down low. Dent's looking to get as close to that as possible. I mean, again, this is too good.
He erases the break point with a big serve.
He thought he heard a let Hewitt there. See if they eliminate the let, isn't it?
You like that?
You know, I'd like to see it. I think most players would be against it, particularly the better ones, because it does add an element of luck.
It's used in World Team Tennis. It's been used for years in World Team Tennis.
Do you like it?
I like it in World Team Tennis. There's a lot of things that work great in that theater. It's fun, but it's also fun. John, I watched John play Mark Philippoussis in the World Team Tennis match early this year, and there was a let court, and Mark wasn't used to the rules. Forgot to play it. See, he wishes that his own national championship were played on a surface much more like this than on the Rebound Ace hard courts in Melbourne, Australia. He likes this quicker surface. And he tends to be very tough here. The surface is quick enough to entice his opponents to attack. And Hewitt's quick enough to punish the attacker.
Yeah, he campaigned mightily to try to influence the Australian officials to change the surface.
Let's make it a little quicker. Oh, it's a miss.
It's going to be a short day for Dent if he misses too many balls like that. Hewitt makes you play. But here, that is a shot he's got to put away, this one right here. And he's got an open court. And he's down break point now. Hewitt and Coria make you hit a tremendous amount of balls. I mean, it's the two fastest guys around, I think, those two.
The gust of wind as he served that last one.
There's that quickness.
Hewitt with a break, as again Dent not strong enough with a volley, and Hewitt lined it up in another bullseye for him.
It's important for Taylor Dent not to have to hit too many volleys. There's the squeaky shoes and the loud bark from Leighton Hewitt securing that early break.
His signature "come on," which has annoyed some opponents when he delivers it on their error. In that case, he was saluting himself.
Yeah, I mean, that is so overblown in my opinion. If that's going to unnerve you with all the things that can go wrong on a tennis court, you should think of another job.
But some of the players have expressed that it bothers them.
Tough noogies.
Or hey, hey, hey. Either one.
That's right. That was, you sounded like you got a future, Dick.
I had a couple
rap artist.
Yeah, I had a couple of radio stations give me a call already. I'm not saying I'm behind times, but I thought hip hop was 2 of the 3 features in the triple jump. But I'm working on the music side of it.
This is going to be a very tough day, I feel, for Taylor Dent on serve with Vitasova and Petrova.
Well, that young Vitasova is a talent. Another to watch. The next wave. Hewitt off to a 3-love start. And welcome back to the 2005 U.S. Open Championships. We're back at Arthur Ashe Stadium Court. Dick Enberg, John McEnroe, Mary Carrillo, and Taylor Dent. After watching Hewitt run out to a 5-love lead in this opening set, held and then broke Hewitt in the last game, and has just won that point on a serve and volley for 30-love. 10 of the last 12 points to Taylor Dent. He was stuck in low gear for the first 5 games, and now he is accelerated quickly. Different player.
Well, particularly that last point, you saw what he was capable of. He's a formidable volleyer. I'd just like to see his intensity level get up and try to use this crowd and show how badly he wants it. And also, what are the odds of you, when you're down 5-love to Hewitt, of pulling out of the set? And
2 straight love games on his serve to 5-3. Hewitt leading. Mondays this fall, CBS presents a new comedy about life, love, and friendship. See why everybody's talking about How I Met Your Mother. Premiering Monday, September 19th. CBS, America's most watched network. Well, suddenly Hewitt breezing a double break lead, and now serves at 5-3 for the set.
Dent's big challenge in this match is not only to hold his own serve, but to put constant pressure on Leighton Hewitt's serve. That's what he's able to do to break him in that last game. He's got a chip in charge. And basically say to Hewitt, can you pass me all day long? That's his better approach, the backhand side. And it seems that Hewitt is not afraid of going there.
Well, Hewitt knows what's coming. They've played long enough. He's seen him play often. And this is why this has got the potential to be a great match, because you got a guy who likes to attack, but you also got a guy who likes to hit passing shots, who's going to be sharper on the day.
He has one of the best offensive lobs in the game, doesn't he? Just showed that.
I'd like to see Dent take the second serve and come in, because guys like to sort of get a couple shots to line up their passing shot. They don't like to be pressured right off the bat, right off the serve. And the longer the rally goes with Hewitt and Dent, the less of a chance that Taylor's going to win it.
Taylor's not as fit as Hewitt, and he's much less fast.
You can't afford to give up 5 love leads against a guy as good as Hewitt.
Beck Cartwright, Hewitt in the front row, applauding her husband, expecting their first child in a couple of months. 2 set points. And he finishes the job. Leighton Hewitt out to a 5 love lead. Dent back to 5-3. Hewitt for the set at 6-3. We open the second set here at Ash Stadium. Taylor Dent, Leighton Hewitt. Dent with the first point.
We get an indication of how fast Hewitt is. The hustle and desire that he has. Try to hook that around the net post. Almost pulled it off.
That's one of his best volleys of this match.
Well, he's found his game at least. He got himself in too big a hole that first set, so it's key here to get off to a strong start.
And the net cord helps Dent. 40 love. John, I know that you at times have thought about what if all of these players today played with the wooden racket with which you won so many great battles. Would you see more serve and volleyers, do you think, if it weren't for all this modern equipment, and if they had to go back to a smaller let you ruminate on that as Dent holds and opens the second set.
Coverage of the U.S. Open on CBS Sports is sponsored by AIG, Citizen Watches, Olympus, and by the new Singular.
And welcome back. As a hacker, and of course I love the bigger the racket and the lighter it can be and all you can do with it, but for the great players, You just wonder that so little serve and volley, and it is refreshing to watch Dent play today. If we went back to the Woodies,
I think it's the size of the racket too, as much as the wood. You know, the sweet spot was a lot smaller, so there was more strategy and subtlety because guys could get blown off the court as easily. Left there. The short answer is yes, because you couldn't be as hurt as easily. The irony, Dick, is that guys are fitter and bigger and stronger than they've ever been, so there's really less reason for them to have all this power. It's like if you go into baseball and they started using graphite bats. I mean, you'd see an unbelievable amount of home runs, more guys hitting the ball 600 feet.
have a part two to the question then. Just long. What then can the game do to motivate young players to be serve and volleyers? What is there left?
If you look at the #1 ranked player in the world, is usually the guy you try to emulate your game after. This is a guy who's got all the shots and can serve and volley.
Roger Federer, who's selective but effective when he does.
There are a couple still out there. Max Mirny serves and volleys. Taylor Dent is in the top 25 in the world.
It's not the rackets that took away the serve and volley. It's not at all. I mean, that's not what changed the tenor of tennis at all. I don't think it's the fact that back in the day, 3 of the 4 majors were on grass. Now there's a 3-week grass court season. The rest is hard courts and clay courts.
In addition to that, the grass is a lot better and firmer, say at Wimbledon, so that allows guys to have the luxury of staying back, whereas before you wanted to take as many balls in the air as possible.
He's just playing so well, Hewitt. Not only is every part of his game clicking, but he's handling Dent's serve even.
Dent is long known to have one of the biggest and most powerful serves. You can see that arch on his back. It's going to generate some pop there.
He's actually had to change his service motion because he was having back problems.
Well, it's also because he tries oftentimes to look at the radar gun to me. I mean, he wants to check to see how fast, and he often tries to hit too hard. And when you have back problems, guess what? Sometimes it's fitness issues.
Saw that last graphic, how important it is for Dent to deliver that first serve. That's his 5th ace.
I still think a guy who's a serve volley player on this surface or grass, if he does that confidently and well, is going to have an edge against guys that prefer the baseline.
15 straight points won by Dent on his serve. Another hold at love. Getting it back in gear. We'll be back after this message and a word from your local station. Bissett serving at 1-2 in the second. Winner of this match to meet either David Ferrer, the 17th seed, or Dominic Rabati, 15th seed. Let's just see racket versus ball on that swing vision, John.
With a wooden racket, it's the racket itself that would bend and move. But you see, that thing stays nice and sturdy, and the ball gets distorted.
I'd like to see that again.
Yeah, ball taking a severe beating here.
The racket stays true.
Server has lost only 1 point this set. And another hold at love. 2-all. Well, a lot of you love to stay up late and watch Dave, and he's got a Labor Day late show, all new. And later this month, look for Gwyneth Paltrow, George Clooney, Terry Hatcher, and more. Dave's all new, all this coming week on America's most watched network.
Just in case Hewitt tracked it down. He wasn't going to take any chances. Look how good his footwork is, the way he hustles and gets himself ready to hit a ball and gets himself in a winning position.
Breaks the string of 16 straight points. Dent on his serve. 4 consecutive games without losing a point.
Well, I'd like to see this sense of urgency from Dent, some intensity. The crowd can rally behind him. I mean, obviously they had Blake yesterday, they had Andre, Ginepri last night won.
And Lindsay Davenport.
They're looking for the Americans to move on. I mean, he's got to just show the people he wants it to mean more.
Double fault for Dent is his third. In the red shirt is his father, Phil. Elliot Telcher in the blue cap white shirt, and that's his friend Tom Lloyd in the black hat. Travels with him, hitting partner.
He hasn't got a specific coach, Taylor Dent. He says he's pretty much working on his own.
We're on serve in the second set with Petrova rallying in that tiebreak to take the lead.
Dent is going to be moving to Sarasota. Just bought a big old house there. And he's very proud of it. That's a terrible error. And he's going to be training at the IMG Academy, Nick Balateri's place. And I like the sound of that, because he has a lot of fitness issues and health problems. And that is just...
That could cost you the set, a miss like that. His break point. He's been through at least 10 coaches, and he's, I think, 24.
Yep. See, he's got to do that more, I think, Taylor. And I think he's got to chip and charge down the middle against the Hewitt serve as well. Just go right down the middle and force Hewitt to create an angle, because Taylor has got one of the very best volleys around, one of the very few and very best volleys around. He can handle some tough volleys. He could react to Hewitt shots if he goes down the middle.
Good second serve. He needed it. He's serving only 43% first serves in this set.
He's only been 47 coming into this. And he had 23 double faults coming into this. The fact is, when he gets that first serve in, he has a tremendous effectiveness rate.
Good hold, saves a breaker. On serve in the second. Hewitt in the lead.
3 games, 2-2.
Clayton Hewitt to serve, up a set, 2-3 in the second against Taylor Dent. tough spot on that far side. Noonday sun is in the middle of your toss. He misses on that lob.
That may turn out to be a huge turn of events, that let cord that Dent got on break point down. Luck is often a factor in winning a big event.
15.
Look at the vital statistics.
Well, neither player has served particularly well so far. Hewitt got the good start. They've been evenly matched since, but he gave away the first set. Dent just didn't look like he was ready to play in the beginning. Hewitt was sharper. A little anger might do him good right now.
Did you feel you played better when you were mad?
Most of the time, yeah. Until I had kids. After I had kids, it didn't. It wasn't setting as good an example.
I don't need to know all that.
14, 15.
You asked.
That's right. Well, I thought maybe it was a whole metabolic change. Petrova and Vladisova in a tense battle over at Armstrong. Second set. And we remind you that Mondays this fall, CBS presents a new comedy about a family of doctors who can't take care of themselves. Out of Practice premieres September 19th on America's most watched network, CBS. What a day. Labor Day weekend promises to be more of the same tomorrow. Well, Mary Carrillo, as kids, you played as a mixed doubles team. Was he better when he was mad?
I got to tell you, and he had plenty of reason to get aggravated when he was playing next to me, but John never lost his cool in one mixed doubles match he played.
He did have a different doubles personality, as I recall, than he did in singles.
Very different. Very, very different.
Yeah, there he is.
I believe in supporting the team and being positive. You know,
It's true.
At times, I think it actually hurt me, Dick, that I would get too down on myself and not appreciate the moment enough. How great it is to have you call a job as a tennis player. When you're with the team, it was easier for me to be positive. That's why I love Davis Cup so much. Play for your country, rally around the troops, a couple of your teammates. Well done. This is a 6-3-3 all, so needless to say, it's a critical time for him, and that is about as good as you can do there. This athletic move by Dent.
There was that volley right into the body of Hewitt you were talking about, Mary.
It's funny because Don Budge called me when I'd lost to Lendl a number of times in a row. Just great guy and friend, and said, John, why don't you try to attack up the middle and take away his angle? And that very match, I ended up beating him.
And another hold by Dent, playing tough tennis against the number 3 seed, Leighton Hewitt. 23,000 seat Ash Stadium here at the USTA National Tennis Center in Flushing Meadows. Play continues here with Taylor Dent and Leighton Hewitt. Hewitt, who made it to the finals last year to be destroyed by Roger Federer. 2 love sets for Federer.
In the last 6 majors Leighton Hewitt has played in, it's taken the eventual champion to beat him. Kind of like him in the first weeks of these things, and here's the draw.
Watch out for the fin on the bottom. Jarkko Nieminen. Lots of sisu going there.
Boy, I tell you, Leighton Hewitt kept his cool nicely there. Dent trying to throw him off. You see, yep, it's not easy to beat Hewitt. We know that.
You don't have to apologize for that record against the top players going on to win a Grand Slam title. Of course, he himself came up with a huge surprise on this very court to win the United States Open against Pete Sampras in 2001. Straight sets.
30-15.
Winning Wimbledon was a nice effort for him as well. He was beating David Nalbandian in a baseline final, making Hewitt the first ever baseline Aussie to win at the All England Club.
He had that one lined up. He had set up Dent with 2 inside-out forehands. He got a little nervous on this one. This is a chance for Dent at 3-4, 30 all. Crowd senses it too. This is what, to me, exactly what Dent needs to do. A classic chip charge. He's got the hands in net. That's his best weapon along with the serve. This is a chance for him to potentially serve out this second set.
And takes a 5-3 lead.
Best part of it is how he pumped up and looked so into it now. And you see this forehand, he's got the inside out or the Western grip, and he can hit it with some pace. The way he's got those eyes on the ball until he hits it. This is good to see, because this, to me, will greatly increase his chance of winning this match. He holds here. This is all level.
Now let's see if he can back up the break and square this match at 1-all.
He loves that net right now, because a couple games ago down break point, he got the lucky net cord.
Struck that with conviction, didn't he?
Well, he doesn't need to hit at 140. And he can place the ball at 115, 120. That would be plenty good enough, as good as he volleys. He's going to get a first serve. He broke his string. You know, I saw Elliot Telcher before the match. He was saying, you know, he doesn't need to. He's absolutely right. He's got to get that percentage up. There's Elliot, who was a former top 10 player.
And Elliot used to work with Taylor Dent as a personal coach. So it was a little frustrating that one time Taylor Dent played Agassi. He lost to him. After the match, here's a broken string. After the match, Elliot said to Taylor, "So how do you think you served?" And Elliot said, "What do you mean? I hit 141." And Elliot said, "Yeah, but Andre won the point." So, I think he was a bit of too much of a speed merchant.
There's a 123 for the ace down the middle, and 2 points from the set.
Much better second serve percentage from the beginning of the match, and certainly much more effective at the net.
Many a coach, Mary, including his father, have told him he doesn't need to blow every serve by his opponent.
Especially if they don't get blown by. If he's just going for big shots and his percentages are low and he gets broken.
Well, guess what? It's about to be 1 set off.
Second set, 20 of 24 at the net. Hewitt says no to one set point.
It's ironic that the hardest serve he hit, which was the first serve that went in at 133, went by him almost as fast. If I were him here, I would take something off the serve and really try to place it.
Hewitt in a denial mode.
That's it.
3 set points gone for Taylor Dent.
Well, you got to credit Hewitt, though. Those are 3 first serves. I mean, he's stepping up here. That is unbelievably good topspin lob winner.
There he gets the
That's the
winner.
one.
And he sliced it wide at 113. He just needs some coaching, John.
Yeah, that's all.
4th set point.
Hewitt saw he was going to kick that ball. The American twist, so he could step in closer. He wasn't going to be able to hit it that hard. Doesn't want to give away the serve he's going to hit.
A handful now of set points.
Advantage Dent.
That'd be discouraging for Dent. 5 chances and Hewitt 5 denials.
Well, all you have to do to get less discouraged is think of where he was 10-15 minutes ago.
And he was 5-love down and did rally to get 3 games in the opening set before Hewitt prevailed. Here's another chance.
Advantage Dent.
And he needs a first serve on one of these set points.
Trouble in that ad court.
So there's an incredible half volley by Dent. That was Federer-like. How aggressive he was. He didn't just push it right here. He really went after it. And that was very well done. You should slice this ball away from Hewitt here. Take a little off at the center. That worked. There it is.
The 7th was the lucky number 4, Taylor Dent. There, 1 set all. Povan Mirza, who has a big game, the 18-year-old from India, will be on court next, and that'll be followed by Serena and Venus Williams battling to the quarterfinals. At Wimbledon, you'll remember Jill Krabus defeated Serena Williams in the 3rd round, denying the matchup of the sisters in the 4th round. Some felt that helped Venus, took some of the pressure off, but she then was a different player, that's for certain, in the 2nd week, as she played marvelous tennis, the best of the year for her in capturing the Wimbledon title.
Taylor's upset with himself because he didn't put enough on that volley. The wind's kicked up, making it a little trickier. That's harder for the serve and volley and better for the guy who plays the higher percentage game. Serve volley more precise. He had a point he should have won at 4 when he was up love 40. Didn't. Hewitt got himself out of trouble. Now he's got 2 break points.
15-14.
And wind swirling, the flag usually blowing just the opposite of the wind direction on court as it swirls down into this giant cavern. Two chances for the lead Hewitt here in the 3rd set. Two saves for Dent.
Hewitt's tossing his racket because he really just wanted to make Dent play there. He clearly mishandled that return. He normally does much better with that. He's feeling the heat. That's going to go wide.
Wind will blow that wide. Good comeback. Out of 15-40 so far for Dent. Now a point for 2-all. Broad shoulders deceptive when you see him on television. He's much taller than you might think. He's 6'2". That was big. 128. If you thought last season's finale of CSI was riveting, wait till you see what happens next. Brace yourself for the season premiere of CSI, September 22nd on America's most watched network, CBS. Hewitt, little change of pace for him, coming to the net and pays the price.
Well, he's clearly on the side where he's a little against the wind, and his ball floated, which allowed Dent the luxury of some time. There you go. That's what the crowd's going to really respond to, and they do. Conditions are perfect for Dent in the sense that there's not much humidity. They played 2 sets very quickly, just over an hour, so a lot of positive signs for him right now. Colleen's been very sharp the last hour.
Just missed wide. Good effort by Dent.
Dent earlier this summer played very well into the finals of the hardcore tournament in Indianapolis, and there he couldn't finish the match, retired against Robbie Ginetri at 3-love in the third down from the heat. So John, you're absolutely right. These conditions are much better for him, especially having to play a 3- or 5-set match against a guy who loves to grind.
I feel like he's hovering at the net. Much more difficult for Hewitt to pass it. This is why Taylor Dent is so dangerous.
Just did get his stick on that volley, enough for it to drop short and set up that. 2 break points for the lead for Dent. So since that 5-love start, things have become rocky for the Rock. We pause for a word from your local station. For the first time in the match, Taylor Dent serves with the lead, 3-2. And the double fault. Just adjacent to Ash Stadium out on the practice courts, Andre Agassi, the number 7 seed, fresh from a excellent win in 4 sets against Tomas Berdych yesterday, tuning up for his date tomorrow in Xavier Malisse. So I'm looking ahead. John McEnroe feel that Andre should be favored to get all the way to the finals. Do you agree?
Well, yes, I do. I mean, it's just if the body is up to the task at 35. He's had 2 tough matches in a row. Tricky matches that he's going to obviously breathe in a big sigh of relief he's gotten through. Malisse, he's 7-0 lifetime, who he plays next. The matchup that people, Robredo's playing well. We saw last night beating Grosjean. He plays James Blake. Now, obviously, Agassi, Blake, if that were a quarter, there'd be some energy Wednesday night. I think you watch out for Coria too. He's quietly moving along but playing some great tennis.
These young Americans feeding off each other's success in this Open.
Robbie Ginepri, I think, dug deeper. His fitness level has improved. You saw that pay off for him in the 5th set against Haas last night. Now Dent showing what he's capable of. Oh, well done that was. That was an extremely difficult play, but he kept his body down, kept the racket in front of him, and he just guided it beautifully up the line.
That Ferrer-Rabati match underway. 3-all. The winner of that to meet the winner of this one. Dent at 129 miles an hour to punctuate the game with his 11th ace and leads 4-2. And the dead are talking and one woman is listening. Jennifer Love Hewitt stars in the show critics call surefire hit Ghost Whisperer. Premieres September 23rd on CBS, America's most watched network. Ghost Whisperer. This has really been a turnabout for Taylor Dent and Leighton Hewitt as well, as Hewitt just stormed out to a 5-love lead. Just nothing much in contention from Dent, and then a different player appeared.
The early start perhaps affected him. There was no energy here. He just didn't seem to come out ready to play. Credit Hewitt for coming out strong, but you see what Dent is capable of. Why people have touted him. And he's beaten Safin this year. He's beaten Albandian. He beat Leighton.
Coria too, didn't he?
Coria.
Taste of his own medicine as
Exactly.
Hewitt.
Hewitt's won the doubles here, so he's solid at net. Roger Rashid, his coach, encourages him to come in more often, especially if he can have a touch as good as that. Is on the full run. I mean, first his forehand pushes himself back into the center of the court and just rips a winner up the line.
Dent, who was ever so close to earning a medal at the Athens Olympics. Set all, but Taylor Dent in the lead here in the third, 4-3. Two games away from 2-1 lead. Taylor Dent serving here at a set all 4-3 against Leighton Hewitt.
This is a clubhouse turn for Taylor Dent, isn't it? He's broken the first 2 times he served in this match, but has held 10 straight times since, fighting all 3 breakpoint chances. And if he can keep this up, and look how effective he's become at the net after that first set where he wasn't.
Oh my, at the open court.
That just, when you say speed kills, there's an example of it right there, because he looked to be out of the point. Most players wouldn't even gotten to this ball, but he forces Dent to hit a tough shot. Instead of being 15, 30, or 35, you're now down love 40.
Right, Cartwright, Hewitt there on the left. They were married in the beautiful Opera House in Sydney a few months ago. Hewitt showing why he's the number 3 seed in this championship. Breaks Dent at love to even the score at 4-all here in the third.
You see CBS's swing vision here with keeping an eye on Leighton Hewitt's footwork, which is about the best in the business. Stays on the balls of his feet. It's a lot harder to run if you're on your heels, right? You got to be ready to move.
And even as he's hitting the ball, he's working his way back into the court. Tremendous lateral movement. He shrinks the court for his opponents.
Oh, he hits both lines.
Oh, he missed that one.
17-2, the U.S. players, that's men and women, in the last 10 matches have won all 10. Last night, Lindsay Davenport and Robbie Ginepri finishing a terrifically successful Saturday for American players. There was just a collective groan throughout the tennis world here at the U.S. when Andy Roddick was upset in the opening round. But how refreshing to see the Dents and Ginepris and James Blake.
The pressure here on Hewitt again, who looked to seize the momentum, break it at love. Now he's down love 30. He missed that forehand he knew he should have made. Now he throws in a double fault, probably still thinking about it.
His 5th double.
There was an opportunity with a second serve at love 30. Hewitt's just double faulted. He's going to be a little tentative. That's where you come in. You attack him and allow him to get his rhythm and groove back. Here again, 15-30. Good time to force him to hit a tough passing shot. That's the shot that I think Hewitt will, if he utilizes that more often, they can win him another major. Because he's got a great backhand up the line. Again, this is, to me, Dent being a little tentative. It's a tremendous play by Hewitt. He's got that shot. He should use it more often.
Nice accumulation of backhand winners from Hewitt's end. A dozen.
He had his chance then, didn't he? He had a moment in there, and it's unusual for Leighton Hewitt after getting a break to play a sloppy mental game right away, but he did start off this game that way, and then he recovered.
3 second serves in a row that Dent stayed back on.
Yep.
I know what you're thinking, J.P. McEnroe.
Well, yeah, but the game's not over yet. See, still, and here he comes. He's playing so well at net. Logic tells me he should do that, especially coming in on that second serve.
Well, here's another chance.
Force Hewitt in. Hewitt with that Western grip had to hit the ball up. And so he knew he had a chance, but I'm sure Hewitt wasn't expecting that good an angle. Tremendous shot by Taylor Dent. Here's the break point.
It's long, and Dent breaks back. He'll serve for the lead when we return to Flushing Meadows. So 24-year-old Taylor Dent from Newport Beach, California, now residing in Florida, serves for a 2-set-to-1 lead against favored Leighton Hewitt here at 5-4.
He should go to that Hewitt forehand, which has been looking a little squirrely lately. Leighton missed 2 forehands in that last game, and with a double fault as well. from Dent. So assured and really knifed it.
15.
Made sure he struck this second volley well.
I was just about to say he's kept his composure and his calm on those half volleys, which are very difficult, but he doesn't want to be doing that too often. And that's what Hewitt can pull off, particularly when he has to, where he has a chance to hit second serves.
It's another half volley.
Guys can't seem to hold right now. This is incredible. Third set has really gone back and forth. That's the ball you got to go after. To try to lob over your opponent there, not a good decision.
And had the lead 4-3 broken. Then Hewitt broken right back, and now 2 break chances for Hewitt. And another second ball. There it is. 5-all.
He sees that Dent kicking that ball up with some topspin, so he's moving in, taking it before it gets up too high on him. And this has been surprising. Unpredictable right now. The crowd sort of doesn't know what's happening.
Hewitt in trouble the entire set. It started it at low 40, able to save that opening game as the Aussie contingent offers support. And Dent finally broke for a 3-2 lead. Hewitt took it back to go 4-all, and then Dent broke Hewitt for 5-4, served for the set, and broken by Hewitt, who wants it.
Leighton, like Dent, had only been broken twice coming into this match. He's already been broken 4 times today, and in each of those break games, he double faulted. It's a little tighter than we're used to seeing from him in the first week.
Clip the line for 30 love.
People talked about how his quarter of the draw is pretty open, but he knows how dangerous Dent is. Dent can make you a little jittery out there.
And Dent beat him earlier this year, the hard courts of Adelaide, his hometown.
Oh, that's nice.
That's a tremendous angle. You can't hit an approach shot any better than that. And here comes Dent.
I still think, John, that you've got to take the running game away from Hewitt if you're going to approach. You can hit it down the middle like that.
And the ace for Leighton Hewitt is his 6th. 6-5 on serve in the third. Dent serves at 5-6. Twice he served with the lead here in the third set and was broken. Sunday Fair will feature the women next with #1 seed Maria Sharapova, her breakthrough year last year, winning Wimbledon, and Sonia Mirza, her first appearance here at the U.S. Open, and she has certainly broken through. And then Serena and Venus Williams, each with a pair of U.S. Open titles, will battle for the right to move on into the second week. Mirza, we first saw her at the Australian Open and against Serena in the third round, and her forehand is eye-catching.
It's a big-time save from Dent.
15 all.
Hewitt, I think, thought it would go by him. He must have had some sort of weird spin or something that threw Hewitt off. He hit it as well as he wanted to.
'83 times to the net. And a double fault.
That's a lot of tough physical
7.
work coming into the net so much, and because he's a lot of guy, that when he's moving forward, it's not easy for him to back up and handle lobs as well, which Hewitt has been throwing at him. This is a very physical match for both players. There's another lob. You don't want to have to play that much ball when you're serving to Taylor Dent. It's just what Leighton Hewitt does.
He hits this lob, and there's the split second with Dent standing there, and Hewitt just makes him pay.
2 set points now for Leighton Hewitt. In a set in which his opponent has had control 2 different times. Nice angle, deep volley for Dent there to save 1.
30.
Three pressure points played by Dent to dig out of 2 set points against. And now a chance for a tiebreak.
If ever, I guess Hewitt missed 3 straight returns.
And it took Dent his 7th set point to finally convert and square the match in the 2nd set. Now here's the 3rd set point for Hewitt. Or Deuce, rather. Deuce.
That big serve into the body. That's a serve you don't see as much in the sport. Can be very effective, especially with that pace coming at an opponent. It's a chance to go to a 3rd set breaker. 2 in a row into the body, pay off.
Well, he dug deep and came up with the goods. Taylor Dent. A tiebreak we go. So a set all and a tiebreak for the pivotal 3rd.
6 games all.
Serve into the body. Again, you see it much less than in the old days because there aren't a lot of serve and volleyers, but it's a very good play. If you have you've got the kind of volley you can trust, serve it into the guy and look for that first volley.
Maybe you're staying back. It's a good serve. I mean, keep your opponent off balance.
They're both taking time after that one.
Dent.
Great defense by Hewitt, but Dent persevered and takes the early mini break.
Well, he needs a lot of explosive power to be able to play the kind of tennis he's trying to play against this guy. And fitness has been an issue in Taylor Dent's career. I think it's one of the reasons he hasn't had a breakout major yet, having to play 3 out of 5 set matches. He's hanging tough so far.
Great start for Dent.
A couple years ago here, he gave Agassi everything he could handle in the round of 16. 2 sets to 1, retired with hamstring problems. We feel that for Taylor, it's more important to be up 2 sets to 1.
4-0. Dent.
Closing in on 100 trips to the net is Taylor Dent, and he's being rewarded.
No, he's not just coming in, he's backing it up with some excellent net play. There's the double.
And a double falls to 5 points to 0, and a chance to serve it out right here.
Not often you see Hewitt rattled, blowing those couple set points. This set looks over for him. Not one to give up, though, Hewitt.
Dent.
No matter what the odds, Dick, he will keep fighting.
Ferrer and Rabati to meet the winner of this one, and David Ferrer, the Spaniard, takes the tiebreak for the first set. 9-7 in the tiebreak. 5-1 in this breaker. And now 5 set points. His teeth into it right down to the final point of a set.
It's obviously a desperate time for Hewitt. 5 set points down, but he's still giving it his all. It's a long way back from 6-1.
And that's long, and Taylor Dent leads 2 sets to 1. And I know you fans around the country have been very generous in your support. Try to help out our fellow man. Well, Taylor Dent leading 2 sets to 1. Missed a volley to open this 4th set. And another.
left.
Hewitt is 16-8 lifetime in 5 setters. Dent has sub 500 record, so it's safe to say at 3 and 4 that Taylor would like to get this over with right now. He lost to Leighton in 5 sets 4 years ago at Wimbledon.
Not quite as hot as it is today, nor were the points as long in that one. Oh, the breeze much cooler. That's 3 missed volleys.
This cooled off here at the end of this first week. No humidity. And he's got himself a little problem. First game of the 4th set. He pulled up on that ball. He's getting seriously edgy out there, Hewitt.
And a double fault, and Hewitt grabs the first game of this 4th set.
First game, 4th set.
Coverage of the U.S. Open on CBS Sports is sponsored by IBM, TIAA Cref, Lexus, and by Sprint.
Almost as if the Farmer's Almanac can predict a year in advance, because it seems every year the hot, humid, summery conditions first week, and then the wind turns and comes from the north, and that's how we have it today. 12 miles an hour, gusts up to 20. Temperature 80 degrees, ideal for fans and players. Mentioned that Dent at the Olympics made it to the semifinals and looked as if he was on his way to the gold medal final, but lost 16-14 in the 3rd set for the bronze to Fernando Gonzalez of Chile. Gonzalez plays later today. He's still in the tournament.
Incredible touch from Dent. That's particularly harsh for Dent, Dick, because when they first brought tennis back into the Olympics, they would give the bronze medal to both semifinalists. They changed that, and then they had the 2 semifinalists play off. Only one gets it. And it was Gonzalez of Chile won the bronze. Nicolas Massou won the gold. They won the doubles. It's unbelievable effort from those two.
What a moment for the country of Chile.
Never had they won a gold medal in the Summer Olympic Games. They won 2 there.
And in tennis, so much world competition. Well, here's a slight opening for Dent to answer back.
Gonzalez plays David Nalbandian later today. And that's in the Federer quarter of the draw.
Winners today to the final 16. Just moments ago, is Serena Williams out on the practice court along with Andre Agassi. Serena, of course, and Venus to duel in the final match on Arthur Ashe this afternoon, as consolidating his lead 2-love is Hewitt here in the fourth. Thursday, September 15th, 16 new survivors will be tested like never before. And there'll be plenty of big twists, and not just one but two this year. Survivor Guatemala premieres September 15th on CBS, America's most watched network.
Hewitt wants to continue to make Dent play hard each and every point. Does not want to give up any love games. And if he doesn't break here, he wants to make him have to put out the effort, so that he'll have less to give when Hewitt serves. And maybe less left in the tank if they go to a fifth set. This points just like that. Have him stretched out. And that wears you down. Mentally as well as physically.
Hewitt, who was #1 in the world at the end of 2001 and 2002. He's currently ranked 4th, 3rd seed here. He has 24 titles in his outstanding career at age 24. That's 3rd best among the active players. Andre Agassi was 60. Roger Federer 31, and then Hewitt at 24. Based upon current events, American Express and the USTA will be donating funds. We'll tell you more about that during the rest of the American Express Aces program to support the Red Cross Hurricane Katrina relief efforts. For every ace here at Arthur Ashe, the American Express card will donate $100 to the effort. So Taylor Dent trying to chip in with his contribution with his serving power. Back at the 23,000 seat Ashe Stadium. This Fourth round action between Taylor Dent and Leighton Hewitt. Hewitt, the number 3 seed, in the lead here in the 4th set, but Dent up 2-1. The third round with these men working toward the final 16, the winners into the final 16. Yesterday's winners had made it to the 4th round.
That ball looked like it clipped the outside of the line.
Not for me, no.
Did not get the call. Always doubly annoying when you go on to lose the point. Hit a perfect serve, gets called out.
All right, Mr. Barrister,
Not that
you
it's
want to
ever
go?
happened to you.
Bring back bad memories.
Fergus Murphy is right there, right in front of us. Yell out at him. Let him know, for crying out.
I like it up here.
He's got to keep his head up, Taylor Dent. He can get down on himself sometimes, and you don't even think about doing that when you're trying to beat Leighton Hewitt.
Especially when you're up 2-1.
Exactly.
This is our 6th meeting with Hewitt winning all but one, but that was early this year that Dent pulled off in Adelaide, Hewitt's hometown.
He's stocky looking, but you pointed out earlier, Dick, he's taller than he seems, about 6'2". He's gotten up nicely today on been effective with that overhead.
The 9th seed, Petrova, excusing the 16-year-old. Ferrer up a set. Verdasco against Djokovic, who has made a rumble here. Young 18-year-old. The big game.
14.
Well, the 18-year-olds, two immensely popular players. Maria Sharapova, the number 1 seed, and Sonia Mirza of India next. And after they leave the court, it'll be Serena and Venus Williams. There, unable to convert the volley, and it's Hewitt extending his lead to 3-1 here in the 4th. Critics call Threshold tense, intelligent, scary. Don't miss the premiere of Threshold, September 16th on CBS, America's most watched network. What was it? Was that? How did they describe that? Tense, intelligent, and scary. Our producer Bob Monsbach said they thought you thought I was talking about you again. I can't. Where's he getting that stuff? Bob Fishman, our director, showing you all these good shots. And there is a good shot delivered by Hewitt.
He must be talking about when our kids play together on a play date and tell them to behave themselves.
Your kids and his kids?
Yeah.
It's just real bad body language right now from Taylor Dent. It's as though he knows he's lost this 4th set. The fact is, he's gotten himself out of big holes against one of the most tenacious players out there. He's got to know he can continue to do it. He's got to believe it.
Just missed
See, I don't like when he starts doing this. I've seen him do that a lot, Taylor. Starts flipping his racket around and poking at it and just getting down.
This man's expression hardly ever changes.
But you notice how quiet he's been. Not a lot of fist pumping, not a lot of come-ons. He knows that this is a potentially hostile crowd for that kind of behavior.
And at love, Hewitt breaks to take a double break lead. Well on his way to scoring the match at 2 sets all.
And now, this tournament summary, sponsored by Lexus.
Well, let's take a look at our tournament summary here from Flushing Meadows. Robbie Chinepri last night excuses the 29th seed Tommy Haas. 5 dramatic sets. 3 Americans are reaching the 4th round yesterday. Only 4 of the men's top 10 are still around. Pretty big one there. Number 1 Federer, and of course number 7 the sentimental choice Agassi, and unseeded women. We'll see one coming up. Sonia Mirza from India. Leighton Hewitt comfortable here in the 4th set. Double break up at 4-1. Seems destined now that we're going to see this 3rd round battle decided in 5. A microcosm of what happened at the start of the match when Hewitt broke Dent twice to start things and ran off to a 5-love lead before Dent awakened and took the next 2 sets.
And part of this is Dent not sure of how long he can keep this up, so he's letting this one go pretty quickly. It'll be about 2.5 hours after 4 sets, so that he'll have, and he knows there's a tiebreaker in the 5th, so he sort of, it looks like he's saving himself a little bit. He hasn't put out a whole lot in this 4th set. Mental and a physical letdown. It took a lot out of him to win that 3rd set in the tiebreak. He's going to have to regroup.
And Hewitt giving nothing. He just puts his foot down heavier.
But what he's going to want to do is make sure he holds at this 5-1 game, so at least in the 5th set he can start off serving.
Easy hold, 5-1 Hewitt.
And if Taylor is able to get himself fitter, then he perhaps won't have to do this in the future in his career. But at the moment, you know, I think he's gotten himself fitter than he's been, but maybe not quite sure of himself yet. So it's also a good net player when he picks his spots.
And the drama here to see whether or not he can hold. Force Hewitt to serve it out, and then he would then start the 5th set on serve. Father Phil in the red shirt.
Dent was a great doubles player, also a top 20 singles player.
Made it all the way to the Australian finals where he lost to Jimmy Connors in 1974. Here's the section in which these 2 men are playing with Ferrer and Rabati. Ferrer up a set to meet them in the 4th round. Young Djokovic has offered a little thunder to this championship. A couple chances here to force Hewitt to serve it out. Playing a little more spirited, as you suggested, John. And it will be Leighton Hewitt serving to level the match at 5-2. And we return to New York. How beautiful a day is this? The skyline of Manhattan across the river and down into Flushing Meadows, the Ash Stadium, 23,000 strong. And at 5-2, Hewitt serving to level the match. Outside, one of the many additions this year, big draw boards, and you see up on top there Sharapova, #1 seed, and Sonia Mirza. That'll be next up here on this court, followed by Serena and Venus Williams. Venus and Serena, the other part of that section, as they play because of their seeds. Venus 10th and Serena 8th, playing in the 4th round instead of their more accustomed final weekend when we've seen them play so many times, including the first 2 primetime finals here of the US Open. Points from the 5th set now at 30-15 Hewitt. Set points as Leighton's wife Beck applauds, a television star, voted the top performer down in Australia, her show. And to a final set go Leighton Hewitt and Taylor Dent. And there are some good news developing, and slowly but surely as repairs are made. 1-800-HELP-NOW. Make your donation on this uniquely American holiday, Labor Day weekend. Good time to think about those who have suffered through this tremendous disaster. 4th set has begun. It's 30-all.
Dent made a very easy error the first point, and it's made this game competitive.
Yeah, he had a sitter that he overpowered long.
I hope he would breathe a sigh of relief if he can get out of this game whole to start the 5th set.
Man, the big ace wide at 129. Good start. 14th ace for Dent. And we got some aces on display on the gridiron a week from today. The NFL on CBS celebrates kickoff 2005. Some power matchups in the AFC. Jets and Chiefs, Broncos, Dolphins. All begins at 12 noon. Greg Gumbel and company. The season premiere of the NFL today. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Fans trying to support Dent. Winless against top 10 players and slam events. Oh, what a time this would be to break that scheme.
People have questioned his dedication and his fitness level. This would be a great way to shut up some of his doubters and make himself more of a believer, to beat a guy like Hewitt in 5 sets. And you can see he's a rough customer the longer it goes.
so consistent since breaking in on the pro ranks late in Hewitt. He's won at least one title every year since '98. Back at '99, his first year, and at least one, many more every year. He's been on the victory stand.
That's just hustle and desire right there. Hewitt was completely surprised by that return. Still had the speed to track it down. And on court 236.
He's feisty and he's fiery and he's tough. He earned his way playing Australian rules football as a kid. His dad was a professional star in Australia. Father Glenn, who's here cheering him, along with Mom Sherry Lynn, who was an outstanding athlete as well in netball. Couple of errors to Deuce. There they are with wife Beck in the box. Roger Rashid, far right, first row. Dad and Mom in the second row.
Well, he mishit that forehand, but he saw that it was going to be difficult for Dent to get himself in position. Look where he had to try that passing shot. Good time to come into net, and just made that volley. The point was his.
Just skids long, and Hewitt holds for 1-all. Well, How I Met Your Mother. I know your kids have asked you that, might have as well, and now we're going to see it on television. Not our situation, something much funnier than that. Critics seem to like it. Laugh out loud funny, they say. How I Met Your Mother premieres September 19th on CBS, America's most watched network.
England.
128 times he's come forward.
Just clipped the outside of the line.
He had enough side spin on it to hook it back on the line.
Again, look how fast this guy is. He lines it up.
Dent is still looking at it, still asking the linesman about this call.
Only in America. Give me a call.
What do you think on the replay?
It looked to me like it caught the outside.
Yeah. An Aussie father and an American mom. Taylor's actually got a tattoo with both flags on his arm.
That's a great shot. Unbelievably well executed from the full run. That's the shot again. That two-hander up the line is a fantastic shot for Henry. I'd highly recommend he use it more often.
Yeah, muted celebration. No big come on. 1-all in the final set. And the ace. 2 sets all. 1 game all. 30 all.
That's too huge serve.
136. Serve 2-1. CBS Sports coverage of the U.S. Open continues after this message and a word from your local station. Both players greeted as they take the court. 1-2 Hewitt, final set. Winner advances to the final 16 against either Ferrer or Robati. Ferrer was in the lead. 5-all in the second set. Ferrer 7-5 in the first. Beautifully executed. Hewitt just enough distance on that lob.
Well, that's to be a very well-timed shot, and you got to believe in yourself. See that ball skidding? That Dent approach shot was an underspin. That's a very tough shot to pull off, to get under the ball and hit it with topspin.
Mentioned Ferrer and Rabati, if we get a chance. There's a new look that Dominic Rabati has brought to tennis.
It's worth seeing.
Yeah, scapulated shirt.
He told me I was going to make fun of him if we showed it, and I think he's right. It's worth a look at some point.
Have you ever seen we got Sharapova coming up, but first Hewitt still serving at 40-15. Sharapova fever happening here. And the hold, Hewitt 2-all. Sharapova and Mirza, 18-year-old from India. Greatest advance ever by an Indian woman. And then Serena and Venus. Who are you pulling for in that sister match? Serena's own things in the Grand Slams, 5 in a row over older sister Venus, but Venus has had the sharper game in the first week of this championship. That was a great pickup by Dent.
It's Good percentage tennis from Dent. He makes sure to get the ball hit with some depth. That was surprising half volley that Hewitt had to deal with. I didn't think it would be that good.
That's his biggest serve yet, and it's coming in the 5th set, 141.
18th. That's $1,800 to good cause.
That's a tremendous hold.
Excuse me, winner. It's 3-2 on serve in the final set. No break points in this tense final set. Hewitt serving from behind 2-3.
Good aggressiveness by Hewitt.
Speaking of aggressiveness, it happens in style as well. Dominic Rabati.
That's aggressive.
That's scapula. The scapula
He's down
look.
a break
I like
already. Just
and there's more. Look at this, John. Sides of the
pink
pants.
shirt. I mean, that is pretty dubious.
If that catches on, I'm quitting this game.
I predict that will not.
Yeah, my
be around
problem
too
would be
long.
I wouldn't know where to put my head. I'd have my head in the back hole.
You know it's bad news. 30 Love here. You know it's bad news. That a ball kid had to rub sunblock on his 2 exposed back circles before the match. That should just not happen. That should not happen.
Oh my.
You've got to be a lot of man to wear that outfit, I guess.
There's a lot of men up at the net battling to get to 3-all here in the final set. Well, we need a little levity.
Do we have to?
All of a sudden, I don't want him to advance in the draw.
Balmo Ferrer. It's about to be a set all, by the way.
Oh man, it's going to go long.
No one ever thought of the scapula look.
And we know why. You wear the sleeveless look. It's like, God, that guy's got
I
good
didn't even like
guns.
that.
Not that good, strong looking scapula that Rabati's got.
So wrong.
And the hold by Hewitt, 3-all. No chances for either returner in this final set to break. Remember, here at the U.S. Open, they don't play it out. It'll be to a tiebreak to decide it in the 5th.
He's in a lot more trouble when he has to hit his second serve. So Hewitt, again, standing inside that baseline, taking it early. That's a tough shot to keep pulling off. Swinging that hard on a half volley, especially he's done so well with it, placing it.
The fans know he's in trouble with this forehand miss. They're trying to cheer him on, get him to hold serve at love 30.
And delivers at 130. Ace number 19. Pretty good hands there. Liner. Spear. And with another pass from Hewitt's end, he earns 2 break points.
You can see the difference in time that Hewitt has when he hits or has a chance to hit a second serve. He's got 2 break points here.
And no short backswing there. He was able to unload the full cut. It's wide, and Leighton Hewitt has the lead. 4-3 in the final set. It's been a great battle, and Taylor Dent has taken it to Leighton Hewitt, the number 3 seed. Had a 2-1 lead, but now it's Hewitt only 2 holds away from winning this match and advancing to the final 16. Football call.
First one.
Hewitt usually gets a couple. And suddenly late in this match, it's Dent just a little off on those volleys that were so crisp earlier in the match. Approaching 3 hours. 2:55. Now 2:56 as we're past the 2:30 hour here in the East.
Hewitt again looking to finish off the point at net. A bit unlucky that he clipped the net there again. Why he doesn't get more aggressive, move in. I mean, that was such a tentative shot. He's probably wondering the same thing.
This is how Dent started to look at the end of that commercial where he loses to Andre Agassi and Steffi Graf's kid.
He's made a lot of exhausting trips to the net. 143 times. Seventh double fault from Hewitt that gives the Dent supporters a slim hope.
Now Leighton Hewitt double faulted in each of the 4 games in which he lost serve. In fact, one of them he double faulted to break himself and lose the game. So obviously he's feeling it, John.
Yeah, he's got to the finals here last year, so he's got a lot to prove. Points to defend. And no doubt he's feeling the pressure too. That's incredible.
First break point for Dent off the 8th double fault of Hewitt. The first break point in a couple of sets for Dent, and the fans trying to help him along. Way off. Just when it appeared that Taylor Dent was in desperate sorts, his opponent becomes quite generous in that service game.
There's a guy who rarely, if ever, beats himself. Just completely choked those last 4 points.
So the break back, cheered by the fans here in New York for Dent, who serves it 4-all. Starting to feel the kind of crowd support and roaring noise that we heard yesterday as James Blake advanced in the big upset over Rafael Nadal.
Talk about getting a shot of adrenaline for Dent. Christmas coming early. I just want to return and give him a present.
American men and women certainly enjoying the home cooking here at the Open here in 2005. Only lost 2 of 19 matches, 10 in a row. Then trying to keep that going at 4-all in the final set, 15-all. And another volley that just did clear that baseline. So close, but
Next question.
frequency very high. The production not as high as Dent would like.
This is some finish to a match that's already gone over 3 hours. And this is, win or lose, this is the best long match I've ever seen Taylor Dent play.
Break point now for Hewitt.
I mean, he's hanging in physically, he's hanging in mentally, he's gotten over some emotional fitness issues too, playing against a guy who just will fight for every point for 5 long sets in Leighton Hewitt.
How about that volley?
That was a big-time volley there. Got down nice and low.
Pressure now falls on the number 3 seed, Leighton Hewitt, serving at 4-5. Can ill afford the loose game that he offered Dent when broke in the last service game. It is amazing. 5 times broken in the match, Hewitt, and all 5, as you pointed out, Mary, he's tossed in at least 1 double fault. In majors, Dent never able to chop down a top 10 player in 7 tries. Defending champion Roger Federer, the number 1 player in the world, sitting back and watching all the most talented players one by one topple out of this championship. Only 3 others in the top 10 left with Federer at this point.
It's out. He missed another forehand. Gripping on that particular stroke as well.
Way off.
That looked like perhaps another one. And Taylor Dent would have loved a double fault call there.
I think he caught both lines, but he was definitely.
That's what he was hoping for.
Well, he wanted it to get in by a little more than that, I think. It was very close to another double, but bottom line 40-15.
So sweet.
This again is after 3 hours of playing. He watches that ball into the racket so well. He's so comfortable up there.
And he holds for 5-all. If you're just joining us after 3 o'clock in the afternoon here in New York, or closing in on 3 o'clock, this match almost 3 hours 10 minutes old. They took the court around 11:30 this morning. These 2 men, Taylor Dent, slow to start, broke in the first 2 games. Hewitt 5-love, and then took the opening set 6-3, and back came Dent to win the next 2 sets. Hewitt took the 4th rather easily, and now they're at 5-all in the final set. The winner moves to the final 16, and as we promised at the very start, this middle Sunday has all the makings with the talent we're going to watch of a final weekend. These 2 men, Sharapova and the talented 18-year-old Mirza, then Serena and Venus Williams to complete the afternoon card.
Taylor Dent's father, Phil Dent, has worked on Maria Sharapova's serve, so he's going to have a long day sitting in this stadium if he wants to watch the next match. That's just unbelievable defense from Hewitt.
That is brilliant by Hewitt.
Look, if there's any question about whether he gives up on anything, it was just answered, because he should have lost his point probably 3 times.
Look at that save.
That's not bad either.
Only the net cord saved Dent there on another tireless point.
It's just showing some good touch, both players here. Dent overjoyed to see that ball clip the net and go wide. Would have been love 40. Not as lucky with that court.
Number 10. Keep in mind, tie breaks in the final set at the U.S. Open. They don't play it out like in the other 3 majors. So
There's the break for Hewitt, and a come on as he will do just that. Come on to serving out the match when we return. During the changeover, reflecting the exhausting effort of this 3-hour, 13-minute match, Taylor Dent, and reflecting on that 5-hole game broken at 15, and now Hewitt serves for the final 16.
he has broken Leighton Hewitt 5 times. We've seen Hewitt's nerves shake on his serve. And remember, it's a tiebreak situation in this 5th set, so one way or another, this is going to be over very soon. It won't linger. The whole goal of the underdog is to shake the confidence of the big dog, and Taylor Dent has done that. We saw James Blake do that against the number 2 seed yesterday, Rafael Nadal, in that big win. It's just what Sonia Mirza wants to do against Sharapova, who plays here next.
And for a while yesterday, Tomas Berdych against Agassi that first set.
Just really too bad. You hate to see a match end with these type of shots. This is an absolute gimme for him. It's obviously some fatigue, but that was just a lapse of concentration. Feel how tight he is up here. He's having a hard time relaxing.
For that overhead, it'd be 15-40 for Dent.
Use the first serve right about now.
And finally, to match point. Green and yellow Aussies supporting their man Hewitt.
Next, first off.
Barely missed.
Huge effort from Dent. Clips the line there. Fully outstretched on this overhead. Great effort.
Matt Cam comes back from a holiday to show us that Dent shot did paint the line. Another match point for Hewitt. Well, Dent, certainly the underdog, has played big today, and at the same time, Hewitt expressing some vulnerability, making some errors uncharacteristic of one of the top players in the game. Football is the call. It's wide. And it does indeed off the line. And here's Dent with a chance to force a tiebreak. That was top of the speedometer for Hewitt at 1:27 this late in the match. 3 hours and 20 minutes.
Biggest serve of the day.
How about that?
Jeez.
Match points gone for Hewitt.
Hewitt needs a first serve. He's serving at 39% in this final set. He's giving Dent looks.
A gutsy move by Hewitt to serve and volley. Rarely does he do that. He totally surprised Dent. He just pushed the ball back and he made him pay.
Gutsy and smart.
Smart.
And with an ace.
Leighton Hewitt to the round of 16. What a match. Well, on this American holiday, they indeed did labor through 5 exciting sets. Taylor Dent giving his best. Had this crowd on its feet roaring in his support, but it's Leighton Hewitt prevailing. Listen to the hand for Dent.
Well, the young American core has distinguished itself. James Blake, Robbie, and now it's Dent, so close to excusing the number 3 seed Leighton Hewitt and joining Ginepri Blake and the veteran Agassi. Well done, Taylor Dent. How entertaining this match. 3 hours and 22 minutes of great tennis. Let's go down to Tracy.
Thanks, Dick. What a match. He fought you to the bitter end. What challenged you out there?
Taylor. It was a extremely tough match, and tough conditions are swirling out here today. And you know, Taylor's never going to give you the match. He's a tough competitor out there, and you know, I really had to earn it. And we played some tough tennis, and I'm just happy to get through.
He shook your confidence. He exposed the weakness in your game. Does that concern you as you head into the second week of the tournament?
I don't know. You know, I feel pretty confident. Yeah, I felt like I hit the ball well when I needed to, and I'm not too worried.
Well, the crowd's behind you. Good luck. Congratulations.
Thanks.
What is his weakness?
He handled a tough question delicately.
He did. He was very gracious about that because, you know, Tracy, hard thing in 23,000 people to say something like that, and you handled it very well. It was very gracious of him.
And here's part of the fan-friendly U.S. Open 2005. Each winner autographs 3 balls and then distributes them as gifts to this appreciative audience.
It's not a weakness. It's the ability of Dent. You know, he can do that to anybody. A game that he doesn't see very often.
Hewitt trying to knock it out of the park. He came close.
I think he's still a little upset with that question.
Well, what a great start to the Saturday of action here at the United States Open as Leighton Hewitt able to survive. He was on the ropes. Dent was up 2-1, but wins it in the 5th set. And coming up, Sharapova and Mirza.